Hey, this is Mr. Griffin, and welcome to another edition of Random Thoughts. Oh my god, I'm just now getting around to this story, but I'm sorry. I mean, I understand. Let me catch you up on, for those of you that don't know. I actually did a video on this previously. Sam Dubose was shot in the head after a traffic stop gone wrong by University of Cincinnati police officer Ray Tenzing, who's now basically been charged with first-degree murder and manslaughter. Which I don't understand how you can be charged with both, but that's another story. The family has hired this man that you're seeing right now, attorney Mark O'Mara. Now, people might not remember who this is, but I was like, that name sounds familiar. But then I found out he's the same guy that got George Zimmerman off in the murder trial down in Florida of Trayvon Martin. When I found this out, my reaction was basically this:
what in the blue hell is wrong with you?
Now, I get being desperate and wanting to see justice for your family, but this is kind of why black people are very rarely, if ever, shown respect. I'll just say rarely, I won't say ever. But this is why they're rarely showed respect. I mean, Trayvon Martin is probably rolling in his grave, and you hired the same son of a bitch that got George Zimmerman off for murdering a 17-year-old child. You got the same lawyer that did that. I guess their thinking is, well, if he got George Zimmerman off when everybody should have went to jail, he'll probably get this one jail. Well, who's to say Mark O'Mara isn't working with the prosecution to get this dude off? I still believe to this day that the real reason George Zimmerman walked, besides a biased jury, is because the prosecution really did not try. They didn't even want to convict George Zimmerman. I don't think they want to convict this guy, Mr. Ray Tenzing. I don't think they want to convict his ass, honestly. But they'll bring in this Mark O'Mara in. And even if Mark O'Mara is on the up and up, I still wouldn't have hired this dude. There is no way in hell I'd have hired this guy. This guy got George. Let me put it this way. For those of you that think I'm overreaching or whatever, let me put it like this. Could you see the Goldman family ever hiring Johnny Cochran to represent them in anything when he was still alive? No. Could you ever see a Jewish person hiring a German person who had history of Nazism? No. Could you have saw a Japanese man hiring somebody who was disrespectful on some level to their people? No. We the only ones that do that shit. Could you see the Mexicans, or at least the majority of them, or the majority of Hispanic people, ever letting Donald Trump represent them in anything? No. Not at this point. But we're the first ones to go running to one of the ones that actually hurt us direct. Now, I know some will come on here and say, well, he was doing his job. Let me tell you something. Most of those lawyers know whether their client is really guilty or innocent, but they can't say anything due to client-lawyer privilege. They can't really do anything. And they have a moral vacuum. Moral vacuum means they can put aside their own personal beliefs in order to represent somebody that they know is guilty as sin. And that's what Mark O'Mara did concerning George Zimmerman. Still, I could not in good conscience ever hire him. Even if I knew he was probably the best lawyer to get this guy convicted. I could not in good conscience hire this guy. And really, in a way, this kind of shows how weak the black community is. Because if we were really strong and on our game, like we're supposed to, I know this is random thoughts, and that's why I'm airing this on the Mr. Griffith Arise channel rather than my Mr. Griffin channel, because this is sort of a heavy topic for me. But this is why black people, if we really had our community together like this, we wouldn't even need to go to a Marco Mara. We wouldn't be able to have our own top-notch lawyer come in and represent our people. Or at least if we had to go outside, we would have the money to get somebody that doesn't have a history of going against ours. Could you imagine could you imagine Hispanics hiring Marco Mara if let's say George Zimmerman would have killed a Mexican kid? You imagine any Mexican family hiring him, even if they were dirt poor and he was their only option? No, the majority of them would not. There might be a few in that community that would, but majority of them would not. Sad to say, if somehow this goes against the Dubose family and Mr. Ray Tenzing gets off, I'm going to be mad he gets off, of course. But I'm not going to feel a bit sorry for Dubose's family. I'll still feel sorry for Sam Dubose, but not for his family. Because I'm like, really? You picked this dude? Really? I'm just saying, I would not have personally chosen this motherfucker. Anyway, that's my random thoughts for this video. I'm out. I'm Mr. Griffith.